Good morning, students. Let's continue with our lesson. Lesson number 2, Physical Features of India. Let's revise the topics that we have covered in the previous video. Can you identify this image, students? Yes, it shows the convergent boundary. Here, the two adjacent tectonic plates move towards each other. So it's very clear, it's convergent boundary. Can you identify this image? Yes, this diagram shows that it is transform boundary, wherein the two adjacent tectonic plates move along its border. What about this one, students? Yes, you are correct. It's divergent boundary because the two tectonic plates are moving away from each other. Yes, students. So I hope it's very clear for you. Today in this video, we are going to learn about the formation of Indian landmass. You would be very curious to know, right? Yes, what is this, students? Yes, it's the world map showing the 7 continents, right? Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Africa, Australia and Antarctica, right? And where are we? Where's our country? Yes, it's in Asia. Students, just have a look at this map. It is not of present time, right? It is 237 million years ago. Okay, so here you can see two parts, right? The greenish one and the bluish one. The greenish part, okay, it is Pangaea. It is Pangaea. And what about the bluish part, the remaining one? It is Panthalassa. Now you will ask, Miss, what is Pangaea and what is Panthalassa? I'll explain. Pangaea means landmass. Okay, and what about Panthalassa? Panthalassa is water body. Okay, it is oceanic body. So I hope I'm clear with this. Pangaea, landmass, Panthalassa, water body. Okay, can you locate Gondwana here? Yes, Gondwana is located over here, southern part, right? It's a part of Pangaea. I hope I'm clear. Now let us learn about this Gondwana in detail. Gondwana land. It is the southern part of the ancient supercontinent Pangaea. Just now we have seen the supercontinent Pangaea, right? So Gondwana is in the southern part of the ancient supercontinent. Just now we have seen. The oldest landmass, the peninsular part. Students, the peninsular part of our country, the Peninsula Plateau, was a part of the Gondwana land. So you can imagine Peninsular Plateau is the oldest landmass. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Now here if you see, students, it's very clear. Gondwana lies to the southern part of Pangaea. And what is there in the northern part? You can see Laurasia over here, right? Laurasia is also called as Angara. Laurasia is also called as Angara. So Gondwana towards the southern part of Pangaea and Laurasia, that is Angara, towards the northern part. I hope I'm clear. The Gondwana land included India, Australia, South Africa, South America and Antarctica as one single landmass. If you see over here, students, Gondwana over here, it's a single landmass, isn't it? We have Africa, Australia, Antarctica, India and South America. So Gondwana comprises of India, Australia, Antarctica, South America and Africa. Did you understand, students? If you want to see clearly, you can look over here. This is Gondwana, right? It's a single landmass. Here you can see Africa, South America, India. Our India is over here, students. See the shape of our country. Earlier it was in this way. Australia here and here Antarctica. Okay. So it's clear, right? The convectional currents split the crust into a number of pieces. So here you can see the convectional current over here in the mantle. What happened due to the convectional currents in the mantle? Let's see. The convectional current split the crust into a number of pieces, thus leading to the drifting of the Indo-Australian plate. That is, Indo-Australian plate started moving. Okay, it got separated from the Gondwana land and towards the north it started drifting. I'll explain to you, students, with the help of the diagram, the map over here. Here. Now this is Indo-Australian plate, right? Due to the convectional current in the mantle, there was movement. There was plate movement. Okay, the crust got split. So this Indo-Australian plate, it started drifting towards the north. So while drifting towards the north, over here we have Eurasia, right? Eurasian plate. Here it collided with Eurasian plate. I hope I am clear, students. Once again, I'll explain this. You can see the Indo-Australian plate here, right? Due to the convection current in the mantle, okay, the crust got split. And this Indo-Australian started drifting, means it got separated from the Gondwana land. And it started drifting towards the north. And here we have Eurasian plate, right? It collided with Eurasian plate. Then what happened? Let's see. Isn't it interesting, students? Here once again the Indo-Australian plate got drifted towards the north. Here we have Eurasian plate. Now in between, can you see we have Tethys Sea here? It's very important, students. Just pay attention. We have Tethys Sea and it is very important in the formation of Himalayas. Now you will ask me how Himalayas were formed. Let me answer. Just have a look at this diagram, students. Here you can see the collision of two tectonic plates, and the heavy sediments from the ocean floor are pushed up to form the Himalayas. Now I'll explain in detail. The collision of the two plates led to the heavy sediments from the ocean floor to get pushed up and thus forming Himalayas. I hope I am clear, students. Now you understood how Himalayas are formed. Once again, with this map, I would like to explain. As Indo-Australian plate got drifted, or it got separated from the Gondwana land, started drifting towards the north. It got collided with the Eurasian plate. Here in between we have Tethys Sea, right? The heavy sediments from its ocean floor got pushed up when these two plates, that is Indo-Australian plate and Eurasian plate, collided with each other. I hope it's clear, students. And you can see the distance, right? It's far away. So it was done forcibly. Hence the sediments from the Tethys Sea started raising up. It got pushed up, forming Himalayas. I hope it's clear, students. And thus Himalayas were formed. The Himalayan uplift out of the Tethys Sea, just now we have seen, right? And the subsidence of the northern flank of Peninsular Plateau. Now what is the subsidence of the northern flank of Peninsular Plateau? Let us see. Subsidence of northern flank of Peninsular Plateau refers to the sudden downward sinking of the northern part of Peninsular Plateau. when Indo-Australian plate collided with Eurasian plate. So because of the downward sinking of the northern part of peninsular plateau and the Himalayan uplift of the Tethys Sea, what happened? Formation of a large basin. I hope it's clear. I will make you understand. Have a look at this map, students. This is the mountainous region, right? Northern mountains. This is peninsular plateau. The northern part of peninsular plateau. Okay. And the southern part of the Himalayas. This region is the northern plains. And the northern plains, how it was formed? Let's see now. Okay. In due course of time, this depression gradually got filled with deposition of sediments by the rivers flowing from the mountains in the north and the peninsular plateau in the south. So, which area they are talking about? Just now we have seen, right? This portion. Yes, this portion got filled up with the sediments brought by the rivers. Rivers flowing from the mountains in the north and the peninsular plateau in the south. So here you can see the images, students. The rivers carrying the silt, that is the fine alluvial particles along with them. These rivers, they deposited the sediments and thus northern plains were formed. A flat land of extensive alluvial deposits led to the formation of the northern plains of India. So I hope it's clear, students. You can see the image of northern plains over here. The land of India displays great physical variation, isn't it? Somewhere mountain, somewhere plateau, somewhere desert, right? Somewhere plains. Geologically, the peninsular plateau constitutes one of the ancient land masses on the earth's surface. So the peninsular plateau, we have seen it is the part of Gondwana land, right? So it's the ancient land masses on the earth's surface. It was supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks. Why it is called stable land blocks? Because it is still present today and it was part of Gondwana land millions of years ago. So it is said to be the most stable land blocks. You can see the peninsular plateau here. Now what about Himalayas and the northern plains? They are the most recent landforms. Okay. From the viewpoint of geology, Himalayan mountains form an unstable zone. Why, students, Himalayan mountains form an unstable zone? Because its height is still growing. Why? Now you will ask, Miss, why its height is still growing? Because of the movement of the plates. Due to the movement of the plates, okay, its height is still growing. You can see the image of Himalayas and the northern plains. The whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys and fast flowing rivers. You can see the image over here. It's so beautiful, right? Once again, the whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys and fast flowing rivers. You can see the high peaks, deep valleys as well as the fast flowing rivers. The northern plains are formed of alluvial deposits. We have already discussed this. Here you can see the formation of the northern plains. A flat land of extensive alluvial deposits led to the formation of the northern plains of India. Okay. And due to the alluvial soil, crops can be cultivated on a large scale. Okay, it's very fertile. Northern plains are very fertile and agriculture can be carried out on a large scale. Now let's learn about Peninsular Plateau. Peninsular Plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with gently rising hills and wide valleys. Here you can see, students. The image of peninsular plateau, gently rising hills and wide plateaus, and they are made up of metamorphic rocks and igneous rocks. So I hope it's clear, students. Now it's time to ask you questions. Which of the following divisions of India has the oldest landmass? Yes, students. Option A, the Himalayas. Option B, the northern plains. Option C, the peninsular plateau. Option D, the Indian desert. Which of the following divisions of India has the oldest landmass? Yes, it's the peninsular plateau. Very good. Next question. Geologically, which of the following physiographic divisions of India is supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks? Option A, the Himalayas. Option B, the northern plains. Option C, the peninsular plateau. Option D, the Indian desert. Yes, students. Which one is the correct answer? Geologically, which of the following physiographic divisions of India is supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks? Yes, it's the peninsular plateau. Very good. Which of the following are Yangfo mountains? Option A, the Aravallis. Option B, the Nilgiris. Option C, the Himalayas. Option D, the Sahyadri. Yes, students, select the correct one. Yangfo mountains. Yes, it's the Himalayas. The correct answer is option C, the Himalayas. Very good. From the point of view of geology, which of the following physiographic divisions of India is considered to be an unstable zone? Option A, the Himalayan mountains. Option B, the peninsular plateau. Option C, the Indian desert. Option D, the islands. Yes. Tell me the correct answer. Yes, it's option A, the Himalayan mountains. Himalayan mountains are considered to be an unstable zone. According to the theory of plate tectonics, the Earth's crust is formed of how many major plates? Option A, 3. Option B, 5. Option C, 7. Option D, 10. Yes, students. Correct answer is option C, 7. Very good. The previous video we have seen, right? The 7 major plates. Which of the following countries or continents was not a part of the ancient landmass of Gondwana land? Option A, India. Option B, Australia. Option C, Europe. Option D, South America. Yes, the correct answer is option C, Europe. Europe was not a part of the ancient landmass of Gondwana land. The peninsular plateau of India is a part of which of the following landmass? Option A, Angara land. Option B, Tethys. Option C, Gondwana land. Option D, none of the above. Yes, students, can you guess? The peninsular plateau of India is a part of which of the following landmass? Yes, it's option C, Gondwana land. Very good. The last question. Which physiographic divisions have rising hills and wide valleys? Option A, the Himalayan mountains. Option B, the northern plains. Option C, the peninsular plateau. Option D, the coastal plains. And the correct answer is option C, the peninsular plateau. Peninsular plateau have rising hills and wide valleys. Very good, students. You have understood the topics very nicely. Let's do the recap now. Today in this video we have learnt about the formation of Indian landmass, the formation of Himalayas, the northern plains as well as the peninsular plateau. I hope you all have understood the topics covered today. Here in this slide I am sharing the link with you. You can watch the video related to the topics covered today. Don't forget to read your textbook. We will be covering the remaining topics in the next video. Till then, bye and take care.